last night, the final 5 minutes were probably concerning for JB Bickerstaff because the Cavs were there and just kind of let it get away. What do you make of that? And you know, take me through kind of your thought process, what you've seen, what needs to kind of get tweaked a little.
To be perfectly honest with you, Dave, I think the 48 minutes were, well, let's say the 40 minutes of game action were a concern for JB Bickerstaff, especially on the defensive end. And that's where it has to start with this team. I think everybody understands that, yes, Darius Garland is playing at an extremely high level, and he is operating the offense like an all-star point guard. But if this team is going to continue to be successful, if this team is going to hold off the Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets, it's got to be on the defensive end because that's how they got to this point. That's their identity. And they know it, and they recognize it, and they believe in it. But the truth is, since the All-Star break, Dave, their defense has not been good enough. They're number 23 in defensive rating in the second half of the season. Last night against Los Angeles was the worst defensive performance that they've had all season long. Some of their worst defensive performances in the top 5 have all come in the second half of this season. There was one against Atlanta. There was another one, like I said, against the Los Angeles Lakers last night. So they've got to get it together on the defensive end. And part of it, obviously, is Jared Allen is missing. He is critical to what they do on the defensive end of the floor. But the attention to detail hasn't been there. The physicality hasn't been there. The closeouts that we saw at the beginning of the season, the hustle that we saw at the beginning of the season, all of that has tapered off here in the second half of the season. And if the Cavs are going to continue to hold off the other teams that are charging behind them, they've got to get better defensively. They cannot give up 35-point quarters to the Los Angeles Lakers and the Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards and some of these other teams.